place to center around, coming together every summer as we became busy with our careers, our own children, and families and lives. The plan worked perfectly, and it has always been a priority for each of us to spend our summers together. This made our parents so happy to see their children, spouses, and grandchildren enjoying each other. Friends and extended family were welcome to spend time camping with us as well, and many memories were made. Family was truly the center of who our dad was, and even with all of his accomplishments and busy career, our family was truly his #1 priority. He showed us this in many different ways. As a committed and devoted husband who loved our mom. Mom accompanied Dad on many of his work trips, which really served 2 purposes. 1, they got to see a lot of Canada and the United States together, and 2, we got to throw a few parties. Sorry to our neighbors, Rick and Susan, and Wayne and Peggy. I'm sure you didn't love the work trips as much as we did. Our parents have had many great friends, and many of the friendships have spanned decades. Each time they traveled, they came home with a new contact to add on to the yearly Christmas letter. All types of community were important to my dad, and he was a natural at connecting with people no matter where he was.
Dad was a great father. He was stern but loving. He raised us to love God and others. His goal as a father was to push us to be the best versions of ourselves. He was always willing and ready with advice. Sometimes we listened, sometimes we didn't. We each knew that no matter what life brought our way, he would always be there with a listening ear, some wisdom to share, and the ability to help us navigate our way through it. It's a very strange feeling knowing that our safety net that has been there for our entire lives, always in the background, ready to help us up when we fell, is no longer physically with us.
Our dad loved music, traveling, reading, and cars. One of the highlights for both Mom and Dad was to go for road trips, especially during COVID, in the 2008 mint condition Solara convertible that Dad bought last year. He loved it. We had family movie nights every weekend growing up, and he loved pointing out the mistakes the directors had made with details like the year of the car being different than the setting of the movie. He was notorious for fast forwarding through the slow parts and any kissing scenes. Dad truly loved cycling. It was his gift to himself, a way to have fun and take care of his mind and body. He loved it from the time he was a kid and taught some of his siblings, all of us, and all of the grandkids how to ride a bike. He enjoyed biking as much as he could right up until this past July, when he started to get really sick, and a couple of months later, we learned that it was because his cancer had spread everywhere.
Our dad's journey with cancer was a challenge, especially in the last 2 months. He fought with his strong body and mind so fully and completely, but cancer just doesn't care how strong or how amazing you are. There is a way to die well, and he exemplified this in every possible way. He coached and counseled, guided and comforted each of us through his dying process. He quickly let go of the things that he couldn't control, and truly cancer took so much from him strongly and swiftly. He allowed Mom and his children to intimately care for him and allowed us to see him at his core as a gracious, genuine, and loving man. He was so appreciative of the care he received at the Cross Cancer in the Unit 3E3 at the U of A Hospital, and there he took the time to write each nurse a personalized thank you card and buy each of them a gift certificate. It was amazing to see how much he impacted the staff simply by being who he was. When we were finally able to get Dad home, he had the exit that was worthy of a king. The nurses and hospital staff each came and shook his hand, told him they loved him, and many were in tears. He had created another family in the time that he was there. When we got him home, which was such a blessing, he allowed himself to be surrounded by love and dropped any barrier or pretense.
He chose to focus on love and gratitude the last few months. Both Dad and Mom were very grateful to us that we were able to work together seamlessly, caring for Dad, in order to be able to keep him home, surrounded by the love of his friends and family until the end. We were very blessed to have nurses in our family that afforded us the ability to bring Dad home so we could all care for him together. We all felt this was a privilege. Most of the conversations we overheard with his friends and family members all focused on him telling them how much they meant to him, how much he appreciated the visits, and how they personally had provided so much meaning to his life. He was the best man each of us have had the privilege of knowing. A kind, caring, and compassionate person, a leader, an encourager, a motivator, and a man of integrity and faith. The loss is huge, and the hole he leaves in each of our lives is inexplicable. It cannot be explained, only felt.
We are all better to have known him and have each had our lives improved by his presence in ours. While we can no longer see his presence, we know that he will never truly leave us. Thank you, Dad, for being such a gift to each path you crossed, for loving us and teaching us. We will all uphold your legacy and will strive each day to make you proud. We love you, Dad.
Music was a big part of our lives growing up. Mom and Dad bought us a piano when Melissa was 9 and I was 4. We were always performing at church, and the three of us could be found playing at weddings, funerals, grads, you name it. Music was a huge part of Dad's life, and he truly loved it. He didn't necessarily love our taste in music and often said how whiny or annoying it was. We would be remiss if we didn't play a song for Dad, and this is one that we sang for him many times over the past few months. Trouble in the Fields.
Baby, I know that we've got trouble in the field, where the bankers swarm like locusts out there turning away our yields. The trains roll by our silos, silver in the rain, leave our pockets full of nothing but these dreams of the golden grain. You can see the folks lined up downtown at the station. They're all buying their tickets out and talking the Great Depression. Our parents had their hard times 50 years ago, when they stood out in these empty fields of dust as deep as snow. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. And if we sell that new John Deere, then we'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. There's a book above the shelf about the Dust Bowl days. There's a little bit of you and a little bit of me in the photos on every page. Our children live in the city and they rest upon our shoulders. They don't want the rain to fall or the weather to get colder. And all this trouble in our fields, if this rain can fall, these wounds can heal. They'll never take our native soil. And if we sell that new John Deere, then they'll work these crops with sweat and tears. You'll be the mule, I'll be the plow. Come harvest time, we'll work it out. There's still a lot of love here in these troubled fields. still a lot of love here in these troubled fields.
I love you, Grandpa, and I miss you.
Are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
I'd like to thank you all for joining us today to pay tribute to Bill, our wonderful husband, father, father-in-law, grandfather, brother, cousin, uncle, co-worker, and loyal friend to many. Thank you so much to those who have sent cards, flowers, and food to help us through these difficult times. Your thoughtfulness and friendship mean so much to all of us. We were all blessed to have Bill in our lives.
Thank you for joining us to pay tribute to a man whose legacy is immense and will live on through the hearts of so many. We know we have said this before, but it was truly humbling to see the impact our dad had on the lives of so many and how truly important and loved he was. The hole that he leaves will never be able to be filled. And the best way that we can all honor his memory is to live our lives in ways that would make him proud. Thank you.